I want to apologize to you privately because Izzy's still here. I'm sorry about that.
You want to apologize because who is still here?
His name is Izzy. Welcome to Highly Questionable. I'm Dan Le Batard. His name is Izzy. I thought my father knew that. Who cares what he thinks? Dale, papi.
Which Sixer deserve more blame, Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons?
We have talked a lot about the NBA playoffs around here, and it is pretty funny how predictable we've ended each series. It's always the higher seed getting the advantage. And so, in Game 5, Toronto, which has been better than Philadelphia all year, more consistent than Philadelphia all year, Toronto smoked Philadelphia. And I can't decide who to blame because these two guys had two disappearances that you just don't see from great players in a situation where you have to win one game in another country to extend your season. Now it's going to have to be Game 7. This disappearance was alarming, the way the two of them shrunk from the moment. Embiid, we might be willing to wonder whether or not there's an injury or whether or not something's happening in his stomach. But Ben Simmons' disappearance as a senior in college right now is what he would be at this age. His disappearance is alarming in a way that could echo.
They can both share the blame, both for the short-term situation in this series and for the long-term when you think of the future of the Philadelphia 76ers. Simmons, in his last 4 games, has scored a total of 33 points and is not playing very well. He's a non-factor in the offense unless you consider his turnovers, okay? And when you look at the playoffs, things get exposed. So in these situations, he's not going to be able to take advantage of his strengths because you can just sort of leave him out of the offense altogether. In the long term, he's got to learn how to shoot. Otherwise, you're talking about people on Twitter and everywhere else discussing trades for Ben Simmons already when he was just Rookie of the Year. Embiid, yes, you can blame the illness, say what you want, and give him that excuse, that's fine. But in the long term, you hear rumblings about him getting sort of that special treatment in Philadelphia and him sort of feeling the entitled superstar role already and not really taking care of himself or being consistent. When you talk about things being exposed in the playoffs, his inconsistency is one of them, as well as the team chemistry, which they could never find all season long. To me, I think Brett Brown should get a lot of credit for keeping this together as long as he has, because it looks like it's fallen apart a little bit.
This is what has to happen here in order for that team to have success, the most success as it's presently constructed. Embiid and Simmons have to be your two best players. They have to be better than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler cannot take all of Ben Simmons' usage rate. You're not going to get the same Sixers team unless Butler's the third guy, not the second one.
You mentioned Brett Brown. Did you see him?
Yes.
He looked real bad.
He looks like a guy who always got fired.
That's right. That's right. There's been a big merger. Pack up your boxes. Get out of here, Brett Brown. Unloosen your tie and get out of here. The job is too pressurized for you.
Who would you rather be tonight, the Rockets or the Warriors?
I always want to be the Warriors. Every year, the last few years, they are the favorite prohibitively. You don't expect them to lose at home, even though they've been more vulnerable at home with this team under these circumstances than they have been at any point during their run. We've seen where their weaknesses are. They can't just get back into a game the way they did at the beginning when they're 12 points down and the last 3 minutes are the most exciting thing in sports because you know they're coming. Not against this team. Houston can hold them off because they've tilted the math in their favor in a way that allows them to be better at 3 all throughout this series than the Warriors have been. I didn't have that happening. I don't see it continuing, but also I did not know that this is what was going to happen for 4 games where Houston is being better from three-point land than Golden State is.
Even though they're as vulnerable as I can remember them, I do love the idea that they're rediscovering what it's like to be the desperate Warriors. And they looked all of that part in that fourth quarter. If they would have made a shot, one of those 2 shots at the end, maybe won it at overtime, it would have sort of been revitalized, if you will. And I think they're back in that mold because they are as vulnerable as ever, because they aren't deep, because those 4 guys know it's on us and it's only on us. We're not getting the luxury of any help here. And so I think the rebounding will be there. I think the activity will be there. You're going to see Draymond flying up and down the court like he did in that fourth quarter as well. And you've got the home court advantage. I'd much rather be the Warriors here, but if you're the Rockets, you think you can just maintain just a little bit, take some of that spirit away, and steal one of those last 2 in Golden State.
Not that long ago, Klay Thompson hit one of the biggest shots in Warriors history, Game 6. From the middle of the court, he was feeling it. Everything plays out differently, perhaps, if Klay Thompson doesn't look like that against Durant's OKC Thunder. Klay Thompson, they need something from him because in the last game they played, Houston beat Steph being Steph and Durant being Durant.
Oh, getting to be crunch time for the flopping beer.
It really is.
And you know what that means? You know what I mean?
What does that mean? I know what you mean.
4 for 25.
Oh, 4 for 25. Wow, we are going to crush him if he's 4 for 25 tomorrow.
From three-point range.
Should we excuse the Thunder for their playoff failure now that we know about the injuries to Paul George and Russell Westbrook?
This is crazy when you think about it. These two guys have been buried as first-round failures, everything from their character to their game being questioned because they tried to play through injuries that have required surgery. Russell Westbrook with a finger that would alter your shooting when you've been a bad shooter. Paul George with a rotator cuff. He was MVP of the league for a while before that shoulder got injured. This explains part of the loss. I still don't know if those two guys are good enough when healthy to carry OKC anywhere, but I know they can't do it now when they're not healthy.
I'd be a little bit discouraged because Westbrook keeps having procedures on his knees, and that's going to take away some of his athleticism and some of his speed, and maybe he won't be the same guy. But we've seen him adjust his game slightly as the couple of years have passed. I think with Paul George, you should be encouraged. You saw him, as Dan said, during the middle of the year, arguably being the best player in the game, and he has a legitimate excuse as for why he struggled. I wouldn't even call that playoff a failure for them. They were the lower seed. Obviously, individually, they didn't perform, but they had everything right in front of you telling you why.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello? Oh, Melo. Oh, it's Melo. Carmelo Anthony. Yes, Melo. Really? You were also injured. That's the reason you didn't perform. Okay, so they push you out. These guys to get the pass. Pass it around. Well, you got a point there, Melo.
He does have a point.
Do you buy Sean McVay's explanation that he overstudied for the Super Bowl?
I love it as a rationalization. Many, many years ago, when the University of Miami lost to BYU, Jesse Armstead said, you know what happened? We were too fast. We were getting out in front of them, and they were throwing behind us. This feels like that. If McVay is looking in a mirror, he either has to say, man, I got smoked in the Super Bowl by Bill Belichick in a way that everyone saw, undressed, or it wasn't that he did that. It's that I overthought it all myself, and that's how he goes back into battle against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, he said this to Sports Illustrated, and my thought process was, really? Like, it's not even that he overstudied it. That whole entire Super Bowl was constipated. I don't really care whose fault it was. Everybody was overthinking something and underperforming. 13-3. I had to honestly look up the score of that Super Bowl because all I remember about it was how terribly boring it was. He can take the blame all he wants, but honestly, I don't care whose fault it was. I never want to think about it ever again.
Here's the thing, though. That Super Bowl team of the Rams was overwhelming offensively. That Patriots team was best on defense in its final game of the season. McVay has to be embarrassed by how that played out. His coaching tree is expanded with a bunch of young guys who look just like him being hired all over the league because they're smarter than everyone else. And in that game, there were two coaches, and one of them looked smarter than the other one.
I will say this, though. If you mock the storyline of experience on the week of the Super Bowl, well, this story will tell you, hey, that actually does matter, even for the coaches.
Easy, you said that offense was constipated?
Yep.
Well, I tell you one thing. I know one or two things about constipation, buddy. I haven't gone to the bathroom in about 3 to 4 weeks. You know what I mean? I know what you mean. To soccer outsiders, was Liverpool's finals goal brilliant or rather impolite?
Okay, rather impolite is a kind way of saying it, a very polite way of saying it. All across these streets yesterday, when this happened during the day, roaring all over the place, because you do not see this happen ever in soccer, although it happened to Barcelona kind of like this last year. So on aggregate, they're up 3-0. All they've got to do is not lose 4-0. Look at what happens at 3-0. Just sleeping, is he? Just sleeping.
But that right there is what you never see in soccer, too. He walked away from the corner kick, rushed back. It's like he quick pitched him. It seems a little bit Bush League to me. I mean, although, having read the rules, there are no rules that say you can't do any of these things. There are no rules that say you have to wait for a whistle or anything else. These people were called asleep, but it's the hidden ball trick in a pretty crucial situation.
Yeah, it's pretty crucial.
So you said that things, they got kind of messy for Barcelona, eh? Very messy. Very, very messy.
Oh, it works the third time. The first two, it was just sitting there, but the third time, he nailed it.
You nailed it.
See, Lionel Messi plays for Barcelona.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Is this a power move? Oh, there it is. Yes.
My son's TV show is brought to you by One A Date and Zip Recruiter, the smartest way to hire. Time to play the game that was just frozen in carbonite. Do you question?
He does tend to sit there like he's frozen in ice a lot. You give us topics and events and we question him.
Do you question if Mike Fires should give all the glory to Ramon Laureano?
Oh, wow. My father really sold that with a fluorescent flourish here. You may not have heard. It's awfully late in the show, given that we've talking about Liverpool and Sean McVay during the offseason, but there was a no-hitter in baseball last night. And this is Fires' second no-hitter. It was after a 90-minute delay. It was on the West Coast. Nobody saw this. So look at what happened. Look at the help he got.
Here's Joey Votto.
Sixth inning here, and this is his center fielder, Ramon Laureano. That's a pretty good way to hold a no-hitter right there.
Didn't he come into this game with like a 7 ERA?
He did, yes.
And it's his second no-hitter. Not this season, of course, but it's his second career no-hitter.
That is correct.
I mean, baseball is all about all or nothing these days on both sides. That's kind of crazy.
Well, he should be thanking the second baseman. Did you see the play he made?
I did not see
All
it. We're going to
right.
see it now.
Look at that.
Not going to be an easy play.
Also the sixth inning. That's pretty good, too.
Got to have a couple of those in a no-hitter.
There was a no-hitter in baseball last night. I asked AL Player of the Month Tim Anderson if he knew about it. He says baseball's boring. AL Player of the Month.
Do you question if this is a power move?
I have no information here other than it involves the Tiger, and I am here for whatever the video is after it involves the Tiger. What do we have? Is this a power move? Oh, look out. Look out, everybody. Wow. How about you guys? Yeah, have some of this right there. I've got no time for you. How would you like if I came to your home and just stared in your windows all the time at you?
I did not know they could do that.
I'm jealous at that Tiger. You know that? I haven't been able to go for weeks. He made it look so easy.
He did make it look very easy. I mean, it was expert. It really was.
In and out.
Raise his tail and there it goes. Puff.
That's right. That's exactly how it happened.
Do you question if this is a compelling case against choosing to be a snake handler?
I mean, isn't the case against it that they're snakes and they can hurt you? What do we have here? Oh, there it is. Yes. The most compelling case ever made on television. Yeah. What terrible location.
That is scarier than anything I've ever seen on this show.
Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Check, I got a check. Yeah, I don't got me a check. I got a check. Yeah, I don't got me a check. I got a check. Yeah, I don't get me a check. Oh, I got a check. Yeah. And I screw that shit. To you by Taco Bell's new $1 loaded nacho taco. Value beyond belief. Time to play the game that wants to know if you have ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plague is the Wise. See or no?
Wow. You tell us what to watch on television tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued.
Tonight on TNT, Celtics and Bucks.
Okay, you want to see Boston melt down here, right? Because a season of dysfunction. Kyrie Irving has been unhappy all season. It escalated quickly. He now seems like he's out of Boston, has talked his way out and shot his way out. And here's what he had to say after the last game, after shooting 30% in the last 3 games.
You know, for me, the 22 shots, I should have shot 30. It really not great of a shooter. So I think that just the consistency of just going at it, staying aggressive is always going to put us in a great position.
Izzy, are you intrigued?
Here's a theory. Do you remember when Kyrie Irving said, I'd like to re-sign here if you'll have me? Well, I feel like he's just ticking off all the Boston fans. So they're just like, no thanks, go to the Knicks. We don't need you. We're the bad guys.
It happened really fast for Kyrie in Boston. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But you know who's going to be very, very upset after the game tonight once the Celtics they get eliminated? Bill Simmons, because he has so many high hopes for this team, He sold the team to everybody, and they lay a big egg, that's right, in the playoff, you know what I mean? He's going to be crying, I can't believe that we're eliminated. I can't believe.
Little bonus remnants for you.
In High Point, North Carolina, the New Britain Bees at the High Point Rockers.
Boy, High Point Rockets and the Beats, the North Carolina Beats, that's a hell of a game.
It's the Rockers, not the Rockets. I don't know why my father is whispering that under his breath.
Because I've been waiting for this game all year.
Okay, very good, because he's been waiting all year long for this national anthem right here.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light whose... Right. Let me hear you, people. Please. Was so bright, beaming, and the perilous light o'er the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
on, buddy, bring it home. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Bring it home, big man.
Looks like he's giving a TED Talk.
Yeah. Oh.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
He nailed it, boy. He nailed it.
Deep in my stomach, I have a sour feeling that feels suspiciously like sickness, and it was just because of the peach jacket. Izzy, are you intrigued?
I know, everybody should kneel for that one. That's terrible.
How about you, Gonzo? Are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, that guy was very, very lucky, You know why?
I don't know why.
Well, because there were not that many people at that game, so nobody got to see the guy perform.
And not that many people watch this show, so not many people
right.
saw it here
That's
either.
Right.
He's clear.
Tomorrow on ESPN, The Art of Conversation.
Mike Tyson in 2019. Why would anybody watch that? Why would anyone pay attention to this on ESPN2 tomorrow night at 7 p.m.? It's Mike Tyson. That would have been a great show in the 90s, right? What about now?
A toad in the Sonora Desert and has a venom in it. And you smoke it. Once I tried it, boom! Everything is went so fast. And when I fell out, the only thing I was conscious about was out. My brain was still functioning, my thoughts, I could still talk to myself, I could hear my mind. And I was saying, I fucked up. And I killed myself.
Because you killed the ego.
Yeah, I was like, I'm dying. It was just really mind-blowing.
Spiritual in nature, though, right?
Yeah,
Like you're just...
Yeah, really, my whole life totally changed. It sounds like a movie script, but it's really the real deal.
At that moment, you're talking about like you come to and you are altered. You are altered and it stayed.
I don't know. I wake up, I'm happy, I'm laughing, I'm smiling, I'm thinking, what the
Really?
happened? Yeah.
Smoked a poisonous toad in Taiwan and also broke down crying a bunch of different times. I've never seen that side of him. Izzy, are you intrigued?
I don't really trust the interviewer in this show. I'd rather watch the Joe Rogan show or listen to his podcast.
All right, very good. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, before the show, you were telling me that Tyson wasn't that tough anymore, that you could beat him up.
I didn't say that. That's not true. I didn't say that.
He lost his touch.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I would never say that. I would never say that. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
It's all true.
Tonight on History, Forged in Fire.
Oh, Poppy, that's that sword show. Yeah, look at that. My father's reacting the way a scared man reacts around sharp objects. He's troubled by this. What are they cutting here? Meat? I mean, it is awesome, right? Like, you want to say it's not awesome, but it was awesome. That guy made that sword and beheaded a dummy. Izzy, are you intrigued?
Well, of course, but again, let's give this some context. This is the show about making the sword, not attacking people with it, okay? Just to be clear.
Gelatin people. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But all these guys, you know, all they do is attack poor mannequins. What the hell the mannequin has to do
What
with
did the
it, you know?
mannequin do to
You're
you?
sitting there,
Sword
you're
guy.
enjoying yourself, and
Yeah.
they come after the poor
He's
mannequins.
so
you
right
know?
about that. Why are you coming after the poor
Yeah,
mannequin?
that's right. Leave the mannequins alone.
Leave the
you know?
mannequins
You know,
alone.
Pick on somebody else.
That's right.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
It's mannequins.
Mannequins.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, well, whatever. He did say it, though. He said that he would take Tyson out with only one punch.
Oh, yeah.
One punch. He'll take him only one punch.
Bragged it to everybody.
That's right. That's right.
Chicken.